comb my beard through quickly.
Yeah, so this is being recorded. This
I'm
is
back
how
on it.
it's episode 150 starts with male grooming.
As every episode has started.
Yeah, and Lucy rolling her eyes, I guess. Is that
More than likely. I suppose welcome to Tanked Up, the podcast about video games and craft beer. We're out. We're not in our little spaces, our little homes today.
In your case, usually quite a little space.
Very cold space today.
Yeah, the pod shack.
Yes, it's been fucking freezing.
I
mate.
bet.
Oh my god. So, we've braved the snow. We've come out to have a few beers for episode 150.
What?
I know.
Oh, I thought we were just hanging out with a laptop and a microphone.
It just happens to be recording.
To be honest, I thought Beck was coming and he was bringing the two tipping tables.
Well, Lucy would have been with us. But she
But
had
she's no longer with us? Is that what you're saying? It's not what he's saying.
She's gone.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Deceased. No, not at all. Although, something could have happened in the snow, I suppose.
Yeah,
Although it doesn't seem like it's that snowy out there.
No, they closed the uni at 2 because when the snow stops and it melts and freezes, the ice will kill us all. And I walked here and I'm like, oh, I did.
We're so ill prepared as a country
Oh, yeah.
for this.
It's
Even
kind of funny.
a light flurry of snow. Anyway, games, beers, that's what you're here for. Episode 150. Hopefully, if all goes well tonight, we're going to pop about a little bit, go to a few different places, maybe record from a few different places, have a few different beers.
Yes.
See what...
It's not a green screen behind me that we will just click a button and...
That'd be brilliant. Suddenly we're at the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
We got here somehow,
Yeah.
really quickly. Walk to the beach.
Yeah, with the same weird, shitty lighting, only on us. Actually, it
That's it.
does kind of look like it because it's so bright behind us that it kind of looks like that
the
could be a
sun is
backdrop.
kind of like there.
Yeah. If it wasn't for that lens flare.
Yeah,
that-
exactly, yeah,
See,
yes.
proof it's not green screening, or we've put too
we
much
go.
time in After Effects.
Oh, jeez, could you imagine?
Every-
Takes long
every-
enough to edit the fucking episodes.
Every
anyway.
fucking move you make slightly alters the light source.
Oh dear.
Every breath you take.
What are we drinking?
Beer, I think. Oh, where are we?
Well, oh yes, where are we? We are currently in the Urban Standard in Bristol. We'll shout them out. We haven't asked for permission to be here. We just decided to come here and start recording.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the idea of doing more of these ninja podcasts.
Just like gorilla pods.
Yeah.
Just on the fly.
The
it's
Gorilla
great,
Pod is a tripod which wraps around things.
Oh, you've got one?
I have one,
Yes.
yeah, you've seen it. I use it to prop up my projector.
I'll get my terminology correct one day. So we're in the Urban Standard.
Yes, which is in.
Bristol, on Gloucester Road. We're currently down here. And what have you got to drink for, as long as we're here for?
I've got a very light, effervescent beer of the Pilsner variety by Viltecken.
Is it Viltines?
Viltines, thank you. Viltines, yes. I don't know where I got the K from. I just made it up. I blanked and I was like, shit, it starts with a V-I-L. I'll just start saying it and hopefully I'll get the right thing. I just threw some extra letters in.
Villains.
Yeah. The Veltin. Yeah, Ben's like, I'm not waiting.
Mate,
a
I got
Pilsner.
here early,
Yeah.
so I've already
Yeah,
started.
it has no nose. It's a Pilsner. The heads lasted a good 5 minutes.
It's done well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do enjoy they've served it to you in an appropriate glass.
It is light.
as you would expect.
Really light. So you do get that. It's refreshing. It's exactly the opposite of what you would normally reach for on a day like today with snow on the ground. So I wanted to pick it. It's a really inoffensive light Pilsner. You get that little bit of the nuttiness that you get off of lagers in the aftertaste. Leaves the mouth a little dry. Want to try?
Yeah. Yeah.
We never get to do this because of the different pod caves.
You're right, absolutely zero.
Yeah.
Super light.
Yeah.
Very easy. A little bit of sort of maltiness in there, a little sweetness there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's what kind of sweetness is that?
I was thinking it's kind of like it's not really like a wheaty kind of sweetness, but it's kind of, it's edging. It's definitely the malts that are kicking in with that sweetness, I think, than anything else. It's not even like, I had a beer, what did I drink last night? I had a beer last night, and you could really, you could get the oats were kicking through, like, massively with what with the hops. Oh, anyway,
Yeah.
you could tell that it was the oats that were giving it that little bit of sweetness on top of like the fruity finish. But with this, it's kind of a little bit like, oh,
It's kind of just like a peak
It's a
of
bit
ultra
sweet.
sweet. Well, not I guess not ultra sweet, but
Yeah,
a peak of sweet.
yeah.
Like, it's quite a strong note of sweetness that fades really reasonably quick.
yeah, it has gone very swiftly.
It also leaves you dry and a little bitter, a little more bitter than I would have thought for a Pilsner, actually. Which is kind of nice. It fits well with my non-lagering ways.
Yeah.
Getting a bit of a sort of a more ale-y aftertaste with that hint of bitterness. I guess my biggest complaint is how dry it's leaves your mouth. I'll catch up.
It's kind of as you would expect, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's for a Pilsner, it's drier, I think.
Okay.
I think it's
Maybe
all-
because I've been drinking, this, it's affected that possibly. So, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
They want you to chug it back and get another one, I suppose. Yeah.
How about you? You've got a half.
So I've already got a half, yes. You can't see the colouring of this. It's
very honey.
yeah, it is.
like-
It
like,
is a little bit darker.
Yeah, it's hard to tell in this light.
People are starting to look at us weirdly.
that's fine.
I've never heard of it before. I believe it's the double standard.
It's the double APA standard.
Yes.
Which
Double APA standard.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the double standard pale ale.
It says, it just says on the board there, double APA standard, it's back. So I assumed that that's the double standard you got.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah. It's
It's
double
nice.
standard, I just got it. Slow.
It's nice. A little bit fruity on the nose. Quite light, really. It's got a decent amount of sort of head to it that's stuck around for a while. It's
Yeah,
quite
which
nice.
is kind of nice. Looks like it's more carbonated than maybe you get APAs here.
Slightly. It's not quite as.
I mean, it's nothing like this.
No, not at all. It's not flat. It's got a little bit of carbonation to it. It's like a slight kick, but the fruit is coming in quite heavy. Really, it's not as light as maybe I thought it would be. Maybe it is an American pale ale. It just says on the board behind the bar. It does just say pale ale. So maybe it is an APA. It's got a little bit more to it than I thought it was going to
A
have.
little more depth.
Yeah, and it's got that, again, the malts come in just a little to give it a slight pickup sort of towards the end, a slight sweetness on top of that fruitiness to it as well. It's not quite as bitter as maybe I'd like. Just want maybe a little bit more right at the end.
Interesting.
I think it's...
Oh, I like that nose.
Yeah, it's a nice nose.
It's slightly tropical, I want to say.
A little, yeah.
Slightly.
Yeah. It's like tiny bit of citrus
Yeah.
in there as well. Maybe a little bit more orange than anything else.
Yeah, but a really sort of sweet smelling orange. I think is what it is.
Yeah, which could be throwing me off slightly. And that's the sweetness coming through rather than maybe the malts. But it does seem like they're peeking through just a little bit, kind of like towards the end.
That's very smooth.
Yeah, it is really easy.
It's actually easier than this. I think what makes this less easy is just the sheer amounts of bubbles.
Yeah, just the carbonation,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
I like that finish. It's sort of like a damp palate. Like it has a bit of coating, a little dryness,
Slightly,
but not a lot.
yeah,
so like
yeah.
you could just choose not to grab
Exactly,
it again.
the flavour sits there quite nicely as well afterwards, and I've just been sat here, just sipping away at it because it is super easy to drink.
Yeah.
I think it's like less than 5%.
It's
I think
4.7, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That sounds right. Yeah, maybe.
I can't quite make it out on the board because of the angle.
We'll check.
the
Fact
fact
check
that
later
it's,
and add it in at some
across the
point.
room.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, super light. It could pass for a session beer.
Oh, easily.
And it's easy enough, and it's pleasant enough that I could kind of, just sit here all evening and drink this. Really,
yeah.
If
I mean, looking at it when I walked in on time, because I was closer, so of course I was here on time.
yeah, I did think that. And I walked past where you would have come from.
Well, just the crossroad just there.
Oh no, I thought you came from that way.
Oh no, it's because Senate House down Cotton Brow. It's the quickest route according to the machine. What were we saying? Oh yeah, as I walked in, I was like, oh, that looks like a beer I want. But I was like, oh well, we're I don't know how long we're here for.
Yeah.
So I might as well get something we can both at least try.
Sure.
And I'm happy with both of them so far. I would definitely, if there was a second round, swap. And I mean, Switch 2, not necessarily make you have this one.
Well, the first thing I thought of was the milk stout they have, which I think is the Bristol Beer Factory milk stout.
Yeah, that's the only reason I didn't get it, because I haven't had it on tap, or if I have, it's a long time ago. But I thought there's a beer I don't normally, I've never seen before. Judging by the rest of their taps and their reputation, it's probably good.
Yeah.
When's the next time I'm going to reach for a Pilsner?
Yeah, completely. Yeah. And I did have a quick stare at the bottle fridge. But unfortunately, the light was off, so I couldn't actually see what was in there. But normally, this place has loads of stuff.
No, I was hoping I could. Nope. I was hoping that the phone light. Makes for great podcasting and video. I was hoping the phone light could like illuminate us more, but it just blinds us. So, if I did this,
Lens flare, the flare.
so I'm a little more lit up.
My T-shirt
This,
illuminated.
This is a standard problem with autofocusing cameras and whatnot, and me usually having partners who are much paler than me.
Sure.
So in low light, it's one or the other. So I'm used to like rejigging things.
If I sit like this, I could be slightly more beard than your face, so I could be darker.
I was like, you could look like an internet neckbeard man. I'm here to talk about video games.
Let's talk about video games.
I'm here to talk about video games. I just said, I have no idea if that...
The voice doesn't quite kick through. Let's try and find, what was I actually going to talk about? So, as you know, as you've listened to us for the last few episodes, we've kicked into doing some segments. I wanted to talk about the exodus of Metro from Steam.
The Metro Exodus.
Yes, over to...
Otherwise known as me.
Over to Epic, the Epic Store.
Oh, the epic Metro Exodus.
Jesus Christ. It could go on, couldn't it? No, that's about it.
I wouldn't want to steam off our listeners.
I don't know whether it was a publisher decision. I assume it was.
Do you want
to move from Steam as a move from the platform, basically to take the product away from Steam, to not sell it there anymore, and to move it exclusively to the Epic Store.
I think it's less leaving Steam so much as giving an exclusive.
Yeah, possibly.
I doubt the decision was, well, you Valve. I think it was Epic's boatloads of cash.
Yes, and I do wonder whether something we'll talk about is the split, the revenue split. We know that Epic offers a better revenue split than Steam does for a product as well. So I suppose first thing is that whilst you cannot you can no longer buy Metro Exodus on Steam. If anyone who's already pre-ordered it, pre-purchased it, which seems ridiculous. Again, we get into that debate about what pre-order or pre-purchase is. You have already bought it.
Well,
You've already ordered it. You haven't pre-ordered it. But anyway.
There's another thing. I have a tag, a separate offshoot topic. I'm getting better about tangents.
So,
it's a sign.
It is.
Do you want to co-sign it?
Hey.
I really trigged to that joke.
No more.
Whoa. So we got to 150 episodes, and now you're like, your wordplay is enough, Aadil.
No, it's not. It's not that.
That's it.
You did two, and then the third was one too many.
It's the rule of threes of comedy.
I don't do comedy nights. It's fine. I don't know these
No,
things.
the problem is it was a shit one. It has nothing to do with the number of preceding ones.
Yes.
Sorry.
So, Metro going to Epic could be for a number of reasons. They are at least honouring anyone who has pre-purchased, pre-ordered,
pre-purchase makes
whatever
no
you want to
sense,
call it, a copy on Steam. You will still be able to play it on Steam. It will still update.
And you
much
still
as
have
it was.
access to DLC?
I would imagine so. I can't imagine they can take that option away from people.
I don't know. It's a separate release, right?
They could. It is probably.
I'm
depends
guessing
how they deal.
Yeah,
with
so
that
that'll be a thing they may have announced. I don't think they did, but that'll be a thing that we'll find out when the first piece of DLC comes out for Exodus. But I would imagine that if only for goodwill and PR reasons, the publisher would push for this weird pocket of people seeing the DLC.
Oh, I would imagine
and,
so.
and being able to purchase it.
I can't imagine it takes
Or-
someone much. It takes someone that long to prepare it to be released on Steam.
But Steam has to. The problem is, like, Valve has to agree to host it on their servers and do all that work.
Yeah.
For the few people who pre-ordered it, who might, despite the bad taste in their mouth, still buy it.
That would be interesting if it was a Steam Valve decision to not.
But I just had a thought, which is, we don't know how long the exclusivity is. It's quite possible this is just a non-issue because when the DLC comes out, it comes out on on the other platforms.
Possibly. I mean, I can't see it being. It's got to be either 6 months or a year, right? I can't see it being any less than that.
Yeah.
And I would imagine DLC will release
around
before that. I would imagine you're probably getting DLC maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months later.
Yeah, I guess that's probably
dependent on what it is.
Yeah.
If it's additional story content, maybe a little bit longer. If it's kind of
Cosmetic
in-game
bullshit.
cosmetic stuff, so, I don't know how Metro Exodus is going to work around that kind of stuff. Whether there's going to be any microtransactions. We kind of don't know how the final product will work with regards to kind of future releases and all this sort of stuff. But I got this feeling that it's both a good and a really bad thing that this has happened.
Well, I think, what's the good thing? Let me hear your good thing.
The good thing, I think, is that it's kind of given Steam a bit of a kick up the arse. Or giving Valve a bit of a kick up the arse.
The general move that Epic's serious about being a contender, rather than EA and Origin being basically, this is our platform for our games, and we'll probably still...
Exactly, yeah.
And then you have Good Old Games, which is only in the past few years co-released new games, but most of it is indie games.
A lot, and obviously
old
they post
stuff.
a lot of old stuff,
Yeah.
yes, and re-release a lot of old stuff. So, Good Old Games doesn't have the sheer volume that Steam has.
Yeah, like I only have 250 games on that platform.
And most of them are probably brought over from Steam.
Yeah, let's say that.
So, you have a couple of different issues.
Yeah.
You have that there isn't really a big competitor to Steam. And Epic are trying to fill that space. And to be able to do that, they need to sweep in and take some big purchases. And they've done a similar thing with The Walking Dead, with Telltale's, or no longer Telltale's, depends on what they're going to be calling it, with The Walking Dead game. That you can now only purchase the work.
It's
People
just
are staring.
We're right. Our table's right beside the bathroom, so it's a reasonably high traffic area, and so there's all these people just walking by and looking at us like, and not even like,
Why are you at the bathroom?
No, it's not even that. It's not even like, what the fuck? Like, it's not even like a judgy thing. It's just complete confusion. So every time I like glance up and see that face, it's like bewilderment, just pure bewilderment, and then I'll walk off. And it just throws me off every time because, of course, I'm
and
looking
then you
at
see
you
them at the bar, and they'll be like,
I'm okay.
So I believe a similar thing has happened with the Walking Dead game.
Yeah.
That after Telltale shut down, we'd had episode 1 and episode 2, which was available kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
It's now gone, or the license has gone to Skybound Games,
Right.
who I think have taken on a lot of the previous team to continue doing episodes 3 and episodes 4.
Right.
But they must have renegotiated distribution, because I think you can no longer get it on Steam. You can no longer buy individual episodes on Steam. If you have the season pass, I think you can still redeem the episodes through Steam.
Well, yeah. So every time one of these things bounces, if you own it, you own it.
Yes.
So this is the. Nah.
But do you?
If you own it, you can get it.
Yeah.
With the exception of things like the Grand Theft Auto soundtracks, which is a whole other kettle of fish that we've
talked about.
We've talked about. But other than that, even things like like when Marvel's Activision relationship died, and you just stopped, like you couldn't buy the games anymore. You can still obviously download them if you own them. And so Steam's done a pretty good job, and actually all of them do a pretty good job about, like, the point is you bought it when it was legal, you get it. Yeah. The things like retroactive updates that pull content like Grand Theft Auto soundtracks notwithstanding.
Sure.
Okay, so that's your good.
So the good is it's a competitor.
Yeah.
The bad is kind of that it has been janked, that it's been taken away, that you may not have any investment in the Epic Games launcher. You may have never downloaded it, you may not have an account. To be able to now play this game, if you want to play it on PC...
No, because everyone played Paragon.
And Unreal Tournament, obviously.
That got cancelled, and now after years of being in very fan-friendly beta...
Alpha. No, alpha, I don't think it's
alpha,
beta,
yeah.
Alpha, yeah. So it's the idea that you suddenly have to sign up to another service, and the idea that it's not just that, it's the idea that how that opens up, how we get to a point where yes, we already have Origin, we already have Uplay, and we have Steam. Suddenly, are we going to have Origin? Are we going to have Uplay? Are we going to have Steam? Are we going to have Epic? Which suddenly,
it might be an actual...
When they start to, that no Epic game is available anywhere else, and I think you have the Blizzard launcher, or whatever, Battle.net. So suddenly we're fragmenting things.
The marketplace
a little bit more and more. And you've just got to, where do you want to play your games? Well, really, people want to play their games all in one fucking place, which is why Steam is successful.
So I've got an analogy, but before I jump into the analogy, I want to say that a lot of this has to do, people I think are less worried about the one-stop shop because of, frankly, Steam's lack of curation.
Sure.
And so there's just a lot of trash in the one-stop shop. And Epic has said, we will do curation. We don't know how yet. We're small enough, it's by hand. Obviously, when we expand it, we'll change.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because that's one of the reasons I started using Steam way back in the day. And I think they did the historical research and said, this is what made Steam successful. Now to the analogy. Have you heard of a little thing called Netflix?
Yes.
Do you know where I'm going with this analogy?
Is it to do with DVDs?
No, it has to do with streaming services.
Oh.
And the fact that now that streaming is clearly the #1 way people consume audiovisual media that's not streaming, professionally produced audiovisual media like TV and movies.
Yes.
People like Disney and Marvel have pulled their licenses.
Okay, yeah,
and they're coming out with their new streaming service because now that it's clear that this is where the market will sit forever, or at least until the next paradigm shift, we want to slice that pie.
Yeah.
CBS All Access in the States. If you want to watch Star Trek Discovery, you can't. You have to be a subscriber in the US.
Yep. We're very lucky here that
it's on Netflix everywhere else in the world.
Or
but see,
at least someone else may, like Channel 4 may have picked it up.
Yeah.
Or, someone over
so
here.
The point is, because of the weird things about TV movie licensing, that fragmentation can happen in national markets, and it's all happening in the States more than anywhere else for now. But we also see movies bouncing from Netflix and Amazon Prime taking a bigger attack on both really old, obscure, random movies that have had their library, but also mid-tier, second-tier movies that are new releases don't go to Netflix, they go to Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing there is
it's an interesting one because I constantly Netflix went up in price over here 18 months ago.
Never paid for Netflix. I've used my sister's US Netflix account for probably a decade.
You bad man.
No, it's legal. You're allowed multiple places.
Yes.
The thing is,
the UK one of them?
So the point is, the way they've dealt with family accounts or multiple streaming is your IP dictates your library.
Oh, okay.
They did that
That's
change
interesting. That's good. That's
a number of years ago. So I was frustrated because I got her Netflix and then was on Netflix Canada, and she's like, "You should watch this." I'm like, "I can't." She's like, "But you have my Netflix." I don't really have your Netflix.
You have access to her account.
Yeah.
Or you have access to use the ability to use
her
her
account. Allows. I think she just has a 2 streaming account, 2 simultaneous streams.
Yep.
And so one's me, one's her.
Yep. Until the kids are old enough.
No kids. This is my sister in California. And I felt guilty for a while. I'm like, I don't need at some. I could pay, but then
You don't have to.
Yeah, and so in the same way that, like, if I had a friend who wanted full Spotify, it's like £2 more a month to get that extra thing.
Yeah.
I'd gladly share my account details and give that, and like, and just even out of pocket pay that too.
Offer for every Tanks Up listener.
Yeah, no. I said friend, not fan. Ooh. That sounds high and mighty. Definitely don't mean that. But you know, but I think the analogy works in the sense of, as soon as with video games, the licenses are all one-off.
Yeah.
And there's no region restrictions necessarily, and so I think it takes a lot more to get that sort of build up to where people are dissatisfied and might try a new thing.
Sure.
While because of all the crazy things with TV movies, there's a lot of batch, like whether it's NBC or Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Big moves that allow you to suddenly cut people off in build up for what you're doing. But it's the same idea, which is, hey, I've noticed you're making money hand over fist. You're not doing a whole lot. Why don't you not do that on my back? I'll try and do that.
Yeah.
In the US, we've seen a lot of failed, or like the new streaming services haven't been doing well because they don't have the UI, the infrastructure of the thing, and Netflix has had that for 8 years, and they don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, photobombing. But I think it's a good analogy, despite those sort of licensing differences. And I think the fact that Good Old Games a couple years ago started doing newer releases was a good, and like big games were still coming to them, like Divinity or something, like big games.
Yeah.
The lowest of the AAA and all the AA's essentially was a good flag to like, hey, this is doable.
Yeah.
I think Epic is like, well, we've made too much money on Fortnite. We don't know what to do with this money. We have our game store. That's just our stuff. Why don't we leverage that to see if we can make more
Start
money?
bringing people in. Exactly.
When you have money, you can make more money.
Completely. And it's, you know, as I said, it's kind of good and it's bad. It has both of those kind of things working for and against it to have me at least in kind of a real like push and pull sort of situation. That I think, a game's releasing. Okay, I want to purchase this. Where is it? Where do I want to? Where do I? You know, if it's available on multiple platforms, who am I giving my money to? Who do I want to kind of support?
Well, and I think this is the problem with Valve, is that I don't really care about giving Valve money anymore.
Yeah.
And so I do remember I used to pay a little more to buy something on Steam instead of Uplay.
Yeah.
And now that I have enough games on Uplay or Origin, well, rarely do I buy Origin games, let's be honest. But I don't care. Cheaper game, put it on Uplay. Uplay's gotten a little slicker as a UI.
Yeah.
But like, okay, for someone who doesn't play games a lot, I have a bunch of different libraries, and I like, and I want to have access to that. So like, I have a little set of icons in my start menu on Windows 10, and it's Steam, Origin, Uplay, Battle.net, Epic, itch.io, Good Old Games, and because I'm an Amazon Prime person, I get a bunch of fucking free games on Twitch.
Yes, you do.
So I've added Twitch, and I think it still lines up well because I put them in two small icon piles up.
So
and then I have Grand Theft Auto 5 in the background because I bought that off Rockstar
Social Club or whatever it's called. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I would throw. I've added meditations into that kind of.
I forgot all about.
List.
I should have put that on.
But
Actually,
I don't have a couple of those, so my list's a little smaller than yours, but not much. And it's one of those that, if I suddenly think, there's a big sale on, it's January, it's always the Christmas, the winter sort of sale season. I've got to kind of track through all of these different things to look at maybe where the best prices, and you can get plug-in aggregators and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know how much.
Maybe we'll finish there.
Why don't we just wrap this segment up? We'll just lean in. Oh no, we won't. It's just getting louder. Starwipe. Oh yeah.
Hey, we're back. Hello.
after that ad break that we don't do.
Do we make one up?
Oh, we should have. We should start doing that.
My beer, it's good. You'll enjoy it.
Buy some sheets and some mattresses.
Oh, and pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff that podcasts advertise to you that you don't really need. If you're viewing us, our faces, we're uplit.
Because
The place we've moved to, new venue, the Gallimathery. Across the road from the Urban Stand. We haven't come far. But it's very dark in here.
yeah.
It's very red in here.
Yes. And actually, the backlight, the uplight isn't as bad. It's because we both have beards,
Yeah.
so it diffuses what should be really unflattering angles.
Yes.
We're saying this because we're both on Instagram, so we need to think about flattering angles. That's all right. You can reach us on Tanked Up Cast on Instagram.
Ah, nice.
Oh, pocket plug. Okay, so we are here. No, that way. Sorry. Scintillating podcasting. Yeah, we're here. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking pints from Marble.
Yeah, but what are you drinking?
Hey, which is exactly what the barmaid said, almost. She was
yeah.
a little bit confused when I asked for a pint.
Yeah. Of what? Pint. Of what? Oh, come on. You must deal with this every day.
Yes.
Maybe it's called pint.
That's where I'm going wrong.
Yeah.
That's how everybody knows it,
Yeah.
obviously.
Tell us about the beer.
It's nice, there's barely any nose to it. I don't really know what I kind of expected.
Okay.
There's a little bit of citrus, it's quite nice. It's got like a sourness to it.
Really?
Like a weird sourness to it that doesn't quite make it sour. Doesn't quite make it a Berliner Weiss. I don't know what it is.
That's a pint.
It is a pint, yes. A lot of citrus. Maybe a little bit of orange in there.
Okay.
But really sort of lemony, like a hint of lime kicking in as well. Easy, very easy to drink.
Yeah.
I don't know what the ABV was. I didn't quite get close enough
Grab
to.
hands.
Yeah, of course. I didn't quite get close enough to the badge to read what it was. So
Here's the coloring. Nope, that doesn't work.
we'll untap it at some point to so I know at least what it is.
It's like a much more like a creamy mango nose.
Slightly, yeah.
And by creamy, I just mean like that smoothness.
Yes.
It's like a mango sorbet smell.
But it's so kind of it's so light.
Yeah.
You kind of a quick kind of nose. Like, oh, there's nothing there.
Yeah. So I think what it is, it doesn't smell like mangoes. It smells like mango sorbet. Like a little bit, like that pushed artificial mango.
Yeah.
smell. Ooh. It's got a bit of a tangy zip to it. And then it just disappears. And then you get like a nutty, malty,
slightly malty aftertaste.
Yeah.
That's
but also doesn't linger.
no, not at all. It's very hard to kind of capture what it is as well because it's so that finish is really quick.
Yeah.
And just disappears. But I'm not. I'm already half a pint down, I suppose, but
I think it's because it's so quick.
it is very quick. It goes and it's just so swiftly that I just need to know what's going on. That much more.
I got the Quartet, which is a collab between Bristol Beer Factory and Wiper and True.
Yes.
Nice, proper. We're in the Bristol habitat. Let's have a very Bristolian beer. It is quite amber. I don't actually know what it is. I'm assuming a pale ale of some sort. It smells almost less than a Wiper and True beer. Like it's got almost no...
Who's this made by?
I think it's Bristol Beer Factory with
Wiper and True.
and not the other way around.
Oh. Ooh.
I mean, it's got like
Smooth.
super smooth. Initial taste is like it actually feels like a collab because the initial taste is like a nuanced Wiper and True, a little bit of fruitiness, a little something going on that you want to sort of dissect.
Yeah.
And then there's this like upshift of taste where you get this hit of like burst of fruit.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, not
I think
fruit.
it's-
I mean, but flavor, I guess.
Yeah. It's not. Again, another hard to discern kind of fruits. It's kind of really slightly fruity, but a little dank on the nose.
Yeah.
Again, hard to discern what's going on there. I feel like it kicks in with those hops, but the malts are doing a decent amount in there as well.
Like, so.
I think it's. I know Quintet from Wiper and True is an IPA.
Yeah, that is correct.
So I wonder whether Quartet is.
I mean, it
edging
tastes
towards that.
It tastes like an APA on the path to a light IPA.
Yes, yeah.
Which is what I thought when looking at it. Sort of like a a little flat amber, but with a hint of orange.
Yeah. And that's one of the nice things about it is that it is flat.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That it has that flavour and it's flat. It doesn't kind of. If it had a bit more carbonation, it would hit you.
Yeah, I think that
a little too much.
Especially that like uptick, that second wave of flavor. I think would sort of feel like a burst rather than like like the same flavor going through. This is a very excellent beer.
Yeah, it's very well made.
Yeah,
it's doing a lot. I don't know what the 4 hops are.
Nope.
No, it's a Quartet.
Yeah.
I started thinking Quintet then. No, wait, what's going on? So yes, I don't know what the hops are. Maybe the badge tells you. There was a lot of information I think on there.
No, there really wasn't. It was just like the badges of the 2 breweries.
Yes,
and the name.
There was some very, very tiny, small text.
I can't see. There's a gentleman at the bar.
Yeah, it may have been the ABV.
Oh yeah, the ABV was on the bottom right.
Yeah.
And the bottom left was Wiper and True, and across the top was Bristol Beer Factory.
What was the ABV? Do you remember?
Look, I remembered the typographical fucking layout. Give me some credit on that. I have no idea.
And that's fine.
It does say something on the bottom. Yeah, I can't read it from here.
No. 2 very different beers.
Yeah, I like them both.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think we can return to them towards the end as long as a DJ doesn't turn up and it gets slightly louder in here than it
Which
did
is what happens
segment 1.
Yeah. But I think we exhausted the conversation.
We were at the end.
Yeah,
definitely. So
I had a tangent that I had earmarked that I was going to say, and then by the time we were wrapping up, I'm like, oh right, I don't remember the tangent. So that worked out real well.
Is it kicked in now? Do you remember?
No. I remember that I remembered that I didn't remember. That's as good as it got. Just call me Jack Nicholson.
Hey.
Cool. So we are on segment 2.
Segment 2.
I've got a segment 3.
Okay.
I figured segment 2 would be actually about games we've been playing or things we've been doing surrounding video games.
Okay.
So, in true Tank Up fashion, we've totally planned this ahead, and this is just our patter.
Be prepared.
Introducing segment 2.
To make it sound like we haven't, obviously.
Yeah. That's a little outside baseball. So, I'll take this back. I mean, first of all, let's cover quickly what gaming's been like for you in the past week or so. But I think, do you have other segment ideas?
No.
Okay. So I've got one, which is Tanked Up Reflections, segment 3. But I think what we could do is I'd like to talk about. I actually played a little bit of a few games, but then also just what we feel like it is to be us gaming in 2019 as like the follow-up.
Sure. Okay.
And we can edit.
Yeah. Let's just say it.
Yeah. Okay. So
those are I've been playing then.
Okay. So I played a couple of games.
Ooh. Games
one
that you haven't played previously?
One. But I'd like to say something. So I played a little bit of Magic Gathering Arena.
Yeah. You keep going back to it?
Yeah. Less so. I wouldn't have gone back if it wasn't for the fact that like a couple of the master students, fellow postgrads, it turns out are Magic players, and so they were talking about Arena and like getting into it, and they were also just talking about like card playing, and so I played a couple of rounds.
Nice.
But the game I started is a game that has been talked about a bunch last year, So we're being very tanked up topical.
Oh, my game is purely, of this time, obviously as well.
Yeah, which is Octopath Traveler.
Oh yes. Not a game we've actually spoken about though.
No, because the only person who has a Switch and plays games regularly is Lucy, and she hates RPGs.
She definitely hasn't played this.
Yeah, correct.
Have we spoken about this? But there was a demo, wasn't there?
I never played it though.
Okay, did Lucy?
I don't think so. I like it.
Yeah.
So, your game? No. So I decided to start as Cyrus the Scholar. I think probably because I'm writing up my fucking dissertation, so I'm feeling very academic.
Fits.
But also, I love glass cannons. He's the black mage, essentially.
Okay.
Obviously, there's 8 different characters you can start with. The Octopaths. Did you know that the first letter of each of the characters' names spells out Octopath?
No, I did not.
So Cyrus is the C. Ophelia,
Second character.
the white mage is Ophelia. She's the O.
Yeah.
Except you can start it in any way, and I played his. Basically, you start as a character, you play their chapter 1, it opens the world. You can then wander to the other cities, pick up other characters. As soon as you pick them up, you do their first chapter, but you have your guy in.
Okay.
And so the idea of the game is essentially, as I'm sure everyone knows, you want to. I mean, there's an overarching plot of your character and the game in general, but you can play all 8 paths.
Yep.
And you can change your party at inns and stuff. The only thing is, whoever you started with has to be in your party at all times.
Okay.
So that's the only reason you might want to be like.
What's the party size?
4, I think.
Yeah.
I've only got 2 people right now, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and so what's nice is you can swap them. It's little things like you can swap who's the character who's in front. So it's standard like train of characters when you're running around a town.
Yeah.
But you can pick who's in the lead. You just can't get rid of
Your character.
Yeah.
You can put them in the back.
Yeah, exactly. So with my 2, as soon as I went to the merchant person. As soon as I got there, I was like, cool. She's in lead. I'm doing her plot. I want her to be the main character.
Yeah.
That's fine. We train her in. What's nice is everyone has like a bunch of the characters. I don't know if everyone has, but their abilities. Certain so Cyrus has investigate. He's a scholar / like detective character basically.
Right.
So in your hometown, because your reputation is so high and it's the first chapter, anyone who has something to say to you, like NPCs who will talk versus the ones who won't, you can hit Y and investigate them, and it'll unlock either discount at the inn, new stuff at a store, or hidden items that will suddenly appear, and then you see them on the map. You can just pick them up. They're flashing icons. The merchant, you can buy stuff off of the same class of people. The merchant, you can go up to them and buy stuff off of them. So items that aren't available in the shops. Or items that are available in the shops for cheaper. And it seems like it's level tracked. So like when I went to the second town, there was one person which was like a 90% investigate. There's most of them were 40s and 50s. And if you do an investigate and fail, your reputation in the town goes down.
Oh wow, okay. That's
and I don't know what
that's
that. I don't know enough about the game and what happens with low reputation. But I do know at the tavern, you can swap your party. I said inn, I meant tavern earlier. Or you can buy back your reputation. If you fuck up your reputation enough times.
Yeah.
And I know the thief can steal things from characters, I assume from these same class of characters, and can pick locks, etc. So who your primary character is entirely cosmetic. Although now that I think about it, when I hit Y against someone when I had 2 people in the party, it just gave me a choice of which 2. If I had all 8, whoever was in the party would presumably have their options. Right?
Yeah, and you may get into situations where you want certain members in your party for certain situations.
For plot, but fighting you might not.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, when I heard about it, stupid name, really interesting premise.
Yeah.
Beautiful art style.
The way they use depth of field in a 16-bit. Yeah, probably 16-bit. It's so great. It's so simple. Just having a really wide focal plane and blurring everything out.
Yeah.
But then, when you enter a building and go up the staircase. Up the stairs is blurred out. As you go up the staircase, it starts resolving, and behind you doesn't, because it's literally just. It's a very simple thing to program, because it's just I don't know, like 18 pixels, that's your bar of focus and everything else is blurred, right? The battle system is super good.
Okay.
This is what I like about this game, this is why I was interested. Basically, enemies have... we're recording a podcast, so as long as you're fine with us continuously talking at the computer, yes, it's away. So enemies have usually like 4 weaknesses, and you don't know what they are. But if, like, say they have weakness of staves, and I'm Cyrus, and I smack it with a staff, if I hit the weakness, it then unlocks that weakness for that creature. I now know for all time that that's the case.
Yeah.
Cyrus's passive ability is he will intuit a new weakness that hasn't been intuited yet when he meets a character. So if you meet the same baddie multiple times, you just find out what all their weaknesses are.
Yeah.
But what's key is, if you're really high level, when you hit them with a weakness, they immediately break. So it's a turn order. So it's a perfect information game as far as ordering. So it says, this is the turn. Here are the 5 characters on screen. Sorry, I'm blocking the light. Here are the 5 characters on screen. This is the order they'll come in. If you break them, they drop out for a turn.
Yeah.
Which means you can back-to-back these.
Yeah.
If you haven't hit them hard enough, they first get weaked, and then a break.
Okay.
Anything that happens to them, they get little stars around their eyes, like head, cartoon style. Any attack against someone on a break, like Ross, will do a lot more damage. So if you use a weakness on a break, you're doing fuck tons of damage.
Yeah.
The other thing is, every turn you get a boost pip up to 5. You can cash in up to 3, so that your move you hit more than once.
Okay. Yeah.
What's nice is you don't have to wait till 5. Right? You can hit 3, boost 3 times because they're on a break.
Yep.
Just destroy them. Or do it once because they're on a break and you want to use that break for more efficiency. Or you wait till 5 and then you'll build it. You can do basically 2 in a row, because when you use the boost, you don't gain a pip, but the next turn you will gain a pip. So then you can back-to-back these things.
Yeah. Nice.
And so it's enough. And obviously they tend to be like weak to very, very different things, so that different characters will be able to exploit them.
So with with you enjoying the battle system so much, how present is it? Are you exploring 90% of the time and it's 10% of battles?
It's random encounters is the only thing. So for me, it was all plot until you entered a dungeon in the main area to fight a bad scholar.
Yeah.
And that dungeon was... I don't think Cyrus is the best starting character.
Okay.
Because I had to use a bunch of potions, essentially. They're called healing grapes. And so, but I mean, it's the first dungeon, so like right by the save point, if you get to there's also a merchant who will sell you these things and you start with money. Yeah. And if I was smart, I was between the merchant and the white mage. I could have gone just to the white mage, but instead I went to the merchant because I think I want to try and play this game with just on the basis of pure ridiculousness. There's the dancer who's like a bardish character, but also has the dark spell.
Oh, right, okay.
And I think I want to try the thief, merchant, dancer, scholar, and have no hard hitters, and see how well that works.
Yeah. Just see if it holds up, essentially.
Yeah. And then obviously if I need to put the white mage in.
Yeah.
Nice. But there's also a hunter character and a warrior character. I think that's an alchemist. So I mean, depending on how ridiculous the alchemist is, I might want to try and make a really dumb
just turns everything into gold.
But what I know of the game is there are shrines which give you the ability to equip a subjob to any character, which allows you to unlock a couple of their abilities.
Classes or
so like your merchant could also have basic heal.
Yeah.
Or like you could put on your warrior that like analysis skill that Cyrus has, which obviously in the end game, if you did any grinding, that analysis skill isn't doing anything. But you could like swap it out. So I like that idea, because then you really can try and design your ridiculous party, because there isn't like a skill you definitely
That's nice.
need. seems like the only big skills that you need are the ones that are like the investigate or the buy, where if you want to be able to use it, they have to be in your party because they have to do it. But yeah, I'm really liking it. The story so far is really simple.
Do you think, like, I suppose to round us out, do you think that once you finish this run through and you've got to the end of the story, do you think you'll play through again with a
So I
different
think
character
the biggest problem is the only difference is playing chapter 1 by yourself.
Right, okay.
So I actually I thought it'd be like a replayable RPG, but I don't think it will.
Yeah.
Except if you wanted to try, like, if you went like most of the game with like these 4 guys and then wanted the other 4 guys.
Completely separate, different playthrough.
But obviously, you're gonna have to keep everyone reasonably leveled because when you play their chapter, presumably you'll have to have them in.
Yeah.
In which case, you're bound to 2 characters, right? I assume that's how it'll work. It'd be really weird to do all of the warriors plot without the warrior in your party. I assume that just doesn't happen, but I don't know. So I really like the system. It's a standard JRPG fantasy setting. Pirates stole shit from the merchant. The scholar, one of his students didn't like that the princess was getting more attention, spoiler alert for chapter 1 of Cyrus, and ratted him out, saying, spread a false rumor that there was an inappropriate relationship with the princess, and the headmaster didn't want to do anything, so says go fuck off for a while. But while you were figuring this thing out with the bad scholar, you found out the oldest book in the library went missing, so you want to go find it. That's your plot.
Oh.
And it's like From the Depths of Hell is the name of the book. Or something like that. So like, really, like, I hope the writing gets better, but I'm probably, it's like the like extra layers to both discovering and like exploiting weaknesses and the boosts, I think, will keep me longer than a weekly written JRPG usually does. And I'm already pretty partial to them, so I suspect I will be at the end of the Octopath.
Yes. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Good. I suppose, I've been playing Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah.
I haven't finished it.
That's that weird mashup game where you're in Rome.
You're a centurion, but also raiding tombs. No.
First you have to make the tombs. Tomb soon? Correct.
I've written a piece for the site about kind of like my general thoughts on the game, and I think that it kind of explains kind of how I feel really well, which is I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
There's lots that's good. It's a nice continuation of the rebooted Lara Croft sort of story, but there's still a massive issue between story and like game progression. You know, in the first game, Lara went through a traumatic event and killed someone.
Yeah.
And then just with abandon killed everybody that she encountered.
Yeah, which I thought was weird because they made a big deal about her first kill, and
Very
it was
much.
like reckless abandon.
And in this game, just doesn't even think about it.
Well, yeah, but
doesn't.
I mean that makes sense. She's a sociopath.
There's no commentary. I mean, it tries to help a little bit. Some of the situations that you're put in are shoot or be shot. You know, it's kind of like they've come to you. You're being attacked.
Yep.
Other situations, I just killed people when I could have just avoided them. Really.
Right.
It kind of. I suppose it kind of has this issue around that it doesn't really know kind of what Lara wants to do.
It's a big problem in especially AAA titles.
Yeah.
Where Uncharted has moments like that too, where you try and give pathos to your character, but the pathos only exists in the cutscenes.
Yeah.
And then the writers and directors just forget that that's what they're doing. So it's one of my biggest pet peeves in modern gaming because gaming has increased, like it's improved as an art form, so people are trying to tell these stories.
Yep.
But it's like they have director of gameplay and director of writing, and they ignore each other.
Exactly. So this is what I read a little bit about. Once I was playing this, I'm like, this isn't kind of. I still feel the same about this as I did about the previous game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the internet and have a look at this, and there's kind of like a lot of tweets and stories and news articles kind of revolving around this idea that actually someone's brought in to write the story, they have no impact on like gameplay.
Yeah.
That what they write as a story
it literally is two different
does not impact at all. It doesn't then lead into the kind of the general next 30 minutes of what you're doing. It is then, oh, we've reached this point, here's the story.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's something that I think, and I concluded what I'd written, basically saying games need to, this kind of action exploration kind of genre needs to evolve.
Yeah, it needs to grow up.
It needs to just have some. You need another option. Yes.
Or you fucking
like that can be in there. That's fine, but there needs to be some either a repercussion or some kind of commentary from the character that they, that they're fine with it. She doesn't say, "Oh, it's fine that I've killed all these people."
Yeah, like
she
why
doesn't say it's not fine I've killed it. It just doesn't go mentioned at all.
Well, or even something like Spec Ops did. Like where your role made sense that you were murdering, but the murdering still had repercussions that you can clear. Like
completely.
That's how you write like a military shooter as a fucking story.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the whole thing tied together. The gameplay made sense because of who you were. I mean, what bothers me is like these are like platform explorer third-person games. They don't need to be jumpy, shooty. Like it's not a core reason people go to these things.
It could just be jumpy.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'm not saying like you could go jumpy, sneaky, but that'd be an easy way of doing it. But you don't need
if there was an option to even knock people out.
Yeah.
Rather than just brutally, and it's not even like she's just going up and killing them. When she sneak attacks someone from behind,
it's Assassin's Creed.
She's like stabbing them in the neck with her knife several times. Like it's fucking brutal. And I don't know how much that continues into Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Like, I'm interested to know whether they have just retained the formula and they've not done anything with it, to kind of see. But I don't know. I feel kind of I feel like this as I did about the previous game. I'm fine with it. It's got issues. I don't really feel like picking the next one up.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like it's just drying you out.
Yeah, a little bit, and I picked this up now because it's super cheap.
Yeah.
I wanted a bit of a bigger experience based on the other games that I've been playing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's paced, or it's not paced brilliantly, but it's very flexible, and that it allows enough for you to kind of be able to just play for 10 minutes. If you've got 10 minutes, you can go and do something. If you've got an hour, you can do something. If you've got 3 hours, you can do something. It doesn't penalise you for kind of only being able to play
in bursts.
Yeah. It's not that I'm playing 10 minutes and I'm just moving down the corridor a little bit.
Yeah, what was the second one?
The second one is Rise of the Tomb Raider. This is the second one.
This is the one that I own, but it never started because I was between reviews and just being like, and you're not making me want to play it.
Yeah. So, that leads us on to your additional point.
No, I have another game.
Oh, it wasn't Magic.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Okay. It's a game I've played a bunch of.
Oh.
A while ago. That was, for a stretch, the only game I played.
Okay.
Like a year and a half ago?
Hexels.
No. Because I still play that.
Super Hexagon.
Nope. Starts with a D.
Oh, fuck, I don't know. Destiny?
No. It starts with a D and it's very similar to Magic.
Oh, the Duelist.
Yeah! So, a friend of mine, one of these masters, we were talking about Magic, and I mentioned how I actually kind of think that Duelist is my favorite CCG on a computer.
Yeah.
Because it makes use of the computer thing by being the SRPG hybrid. So it's deck building to make an SRPG on a limited map, and I think it's great. And he was like, I didn't really like it that much when I played it. I'm like, oh, I played a fuck ton of it.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, cool. I'm like, oh, actually, if you own it, I am one achievement away from finishing all of the achievements, and that achievement is play with a friend. Shut up. I know you're all judging me / making jokes. Yes, I don't have friends, let alone friends who play Duelist. And he's like, sure. And so last night he installed it, and I got home after working, and I worked a lot. And we ended up playing like 5 or 6 matches in a row.
Yeah.
Me with my random decks that were built, and him with his. But he had played much less and quit at a different stage.
Yeah.
So like the first couple, like the most recent decks I had were not fair to what he had. But I played some older ones, and he beat me a couple times. Once because I misplayed like a motherfucker. First 2 turns in a row.
Happens.
I was just like, no. And then once, like legitimate, like he was just like, oh, this is like, yep, you just outdid me, and it was really fun. And his comment was, this is way more fun than I ever had playing it the first time around.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried, is what he said. Like, yep, I know that feeling.
Just dragged in.
But I forgot how much fun it was, and I had never played it with another person, and so I was literally on my phone on Facebook Messenger messaging him because Duelist has a friends list, but obviously you can't swap to text.
Right,
or whatever.
okay, yeah.
I could have used Steam Chat, I suppose, but we just were texting. And then I was like, oh, now I see why people just have community Discords, because it would have been so much easier to just talk about these moves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I think once the dissertation is done, I'll see what's out there. Obviously, I'm sure my decks are just outclassed, because that's how these games work. But I played...
Yeah, you take a break, you've got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, your cards don't work. The meta's gone on, there's more things. Although, I played a game because I was waiting for him to come online, and he spectated because I forgot you can watch anything.
Okay.
And he spectated, he's like, and then he messaged me, a little rusty there, eh? And he saw me misplay something. Because I assume spectating a person will show you their hand in
everything. Yeah.
And it's like, yep, still won though. The guy conceded. But it also told me that like it wasn't a bog standard deck. So the deck I picked wasn't like it's not like I could go back to the game and not be completely outclassed at least at the bottom. Which on other games that's happened to me where it's like, oh no, there's no way. Like nothing you can do can beat whatever is like basic now. So that's sort of between arena, avoiding arena, and other things. Like I like the idea of designing my way of trying to beat someone along confidence.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That was my big thing. It was one, I have all the achievements. Now I have like 2 games where I have all the achievements.
What's the other one?
Adventure Capitalist.
Okay.
Oh, and Braid. I think I have all of them in Braid as well, which took a while.
Yeah.
Oh, and Hex House. Duh.
4 games.
Yeah. The only achievement progress I have ever cared about is beating a Super Hexagon level 1 because it took so long. Having said that, I was talking with these 2 people about Magic, and I just loaded Super Hexagon and was like, the point. It didn't even have a sound. I was just like, because we were talking.
Yeah.
And first try got to 52 seconds on level 1.
Wow.
And then I was easily within the thing, and I just was like, and I clipped a corner, and I was like, oh, fuck. And it said fuck so strongly, Gareth was like, oh, is something like really wrong? I'm like, no, I was playing Super Hexagon while talking to you, and I fucked up a 52-second run. But I was like, oh, right, because the muscle memory kicked in, and because I was tuning out. I'm better at the game when I'm not paying attention. Anyway, so that's my games I've played.
Nice, yeah.
I actually think I would like to try something like Magic or Duelist against someone I know with Discord or something, because I think that would actually give me the, like, tabletop Magic.
Very much, completely. Yeah.
Board game
experience,
feel. So, topic 2 of segment 2. Gaming. Now, so I'm 35.
Yes.
Finishing my PhD. I'll have some time while I'm looking for a job.
Yes.
When I'm not working to publish the papers that make up my dissertation. So I will be playing more games a month from now than I have been for 2 years. And I'm looking forward to it. And I wasn't sure I would. And I don't know, I think between the brief dabbles with like things like Magic, which are like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
And talking with people like these other friends I have, like this new crop of postgrads who play games. And I was like, oh, and the fact that they're PC gamers helps, although my machine's dead. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing games and having new people play different games.
Yeah, that's good.
I've got a couple friends who play Overwatch. I got it for free in Humble or something. Although everyone who plays Overwatch says it's garbage now and they hate it. But like things like that, I'm really looking forward to, and it dovetails so well with like the Division 2 coming out.
Yeah.
Like I would buy that on PC if I had a PC. Easily, I will buy it on PS4 so we can play it together. And you can be like, how have you not figured out how to aim on a controller? Because
you'll be fine.
I don't know if you remember.
I
don't remember. I was doing okay at Battlefield 1, and then we started playing Division, and I was so garbage. Like that aiming system, it wasn't enough. I don't know. All that Battlefield 1 experience didn't translate well.
First person to third person just didn't quite click.
I mean, I'm sure I could. I think it was because we didn't play it often enough that I was tweaking the sensitivity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And even if I don't know if I'll ever go back to like lots of gaming every day, but I'm looking forward to having it back in my life, even as a 35-year-old man. But also, when I think about playing games, I'm thinking there's still like no particular genre that I'm like, that's the one I would play.
Sure.
I still want to play
a broad range of
games.
things. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So that's me in my weird like stunted growth because I reset my life, and so now I'm leaving uni at 35.
A good time to leave.
And also single, so like I don't have anything else to do.
I mean, that's the big thing that's changed kind of how I approach games. It's not the being with somebody. It's the kids. You know, it is time. Yeah. We went through. You know, Kim and I have been together almost 9 years.
Oh wow, yeah. Okay.
So you know, we had a significant portion of that where I was still having lots of time when I was a student as well.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time to game. Kim would come home from work, I'd have done all of my student-y bits, and I'd maybe played an hour already.
Yeah.
Or I'd get up at 7 at the weekends, because I don't sleep that much, and play for a few hours before Kim got up.
Yeah.
You know, so there was lots of time when had...
even as life progressed, you found pockets.
Yeah, I found pockets.
Life was simpler.
Now it's very different. So Evelyn obviously changed that, and it changed kind of the slot that I could play in. So when Battlefield 1 came out, we were getting quite a lot of Battlefield 1 gaming in.
Yeah.
Because of the way that Evelyn didn't, you know, because of her not sleeping and her having to be upright because of the reflux, she would sleep on me and I could play away. Fine. When that kind of started to go away a little bit and we started to get back into a regular pattern of sleep, that then started to limit what I was doing. And I think I've almost dropped, and Blackout, playing the Blackout trial has kind of shown me that I have dropped that multiplayer aspect.
Yeah.
That's almost completely gone.
I was just saying, I mean,
it is all now single player experiences.
Because it's whenever you can.
Exactly. And that's why I praise Tomb Raider for being flexible. I've got 10 minutes, I'll play.
Yeah.
And I can do something, you know. It's going to be interesting to see kind of like the games I'm looking forward to, like The Division 2.
Yeah. And
what I can actually get out of that in terms of the time that I have. There are times when Kim says, I've got some trash I want to watch on ITV Player or some other player, and I can say, okay, you watch it on your laptop, I'll put headphones in and I'll play. Yeah. We still have those kind of times, and you know, maybe that's...
You don't do like picture-in-picture?
We've got the Sony TV week, but just blue glass on and get one picture, and red glass on it. I maybe get 2 nights a week like that now.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, previously it was 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
It's slashed massively the amount of time.
So I was going to say,
but I played a ton of games last year.
Yeah. I mean,
tons of fucking games. I don't know where I found this time.
So I think it's I mean, I think it's because you find the pockets, and because that is your primary way of like decompressing.
Very much. It helps working from home as well.
Yeah.
Because I can. It hits 1 o'clock.
And you're like
midday, and I'm like, I just want to break for an hour. I'll play something. You know, I was playing Subnautica the other day, and suddenly it was like I played for an hour and a half. Like, oh shit!
Yeah.
I better start doing some more work. Like, just.
But you also have that self-discipline.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think it's crucial to be able to work from home, game as a hobby, and not ruin yourself.
Yeah, completely.
But, I mean, I think there's a combination of things. One is obviously your schedule change, with respect to like both of us fading from multiplayer. And the other thing is, I liked Battlefield 1, even though I was not great at it in general. Thanks for nodding at that. That makes me feel good.
I was nodding at that. I liked Battlefield 1, yes.
Yeah,
I did too.
But nothing sparked an interest there.
Yeah.
Like, even if it was impossible because of the schedule changing, there wasn't anything I was like lamenting that we couldn't play.
Sure, yeah, of course, yeah.
And so it just became really easy to just lose that. What I missed was, let's just fucking play games.
Yeah, let's chat, play games, hang out. Like, completely. And it's one of those.
To be honest, that's one of the main reasons I'm looking forward to the Division 2. Is like, part of it is, I like the Division 1. It seems like they're shoring up some of the problems. But a lot of it is just like, I'd like to play a game with friends again.
Completely, and I think playing Blackout with Alex, made me realise that I do miss that.
Yeah.
It's been about maybe 18 months, 2 years really. Well, 18 months since kind of I was very invested in playing with other people.
Yeah.
Yourself and Nico
and Rob.
And we kind of had our decent kind of like squad, and it'd be nice to have a game where I can have that again, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's one of those things that I miss it, but I don't think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I realise that I miss it, I'm like, oh, I'd like that again.
I think that's.
But I've got enough other experiences in gaming, but it's single player, that it kind of doesn't let me dwell on it, I suppose.
So this is what I was trying to say with like my earlier point about I'm interested in sort of playing all kinds of things.
Yeah.
It's like there are gaming experiences that I gravitate to.
Sure.
RPGs, especially SRPGs.
Puzzle games.
Puzzle games, which I didn't realize until like 2.5 years ago that I like them.
Yeah.
And like deck building sort of card games.
Yeah.
Part of that is the flexibility of time.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously FPSs. But what I've increasingly become aware of is I care so much more about the narrative. Given that like I have a limited amount of game time, that most sort of actiony FPS games I don't bother with, because even though I like the genre, like I like playing an FPS.
Yeah.
One of the things I really want to do is finish Doom. I haven't finished it. Loved every moment of it that I played.
Such a good fucking game.
The whole experience worked.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of other FPSs which I've started and not finished that even though I'm missing FPSs, it's like, well, I could not, and what will bring me back to like what was like, we can't get the overarching narrative. Give me my friends.
Yeah, sure. I think you might, if you were to lean into
in fact,
like...
I think we should just play Team Fortress 2. Lean in. Counter-Strike Source.
Is that free now?
So I think even Counter-Strike...
CSGO?
Go.
Yes.
It's like, what's it called? Yeah.
So I think maybe you get that from Wolfenstein as well, Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah.
Definitely get that narrative over the top with a really good sort of like gunplay. Metro Exodus is one I'm looking forward to, which I think will give a little bit of narrative as well.
I haven't finished the other Metro games yet.
I don't think you need to.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to lean into Metro Exodus. I don't know where you are with it. So I mean, there are games that will give you that, but you can't rely on maybe the Call of Duties or the Battlefield.
No, and I think that's sort of what happened to me.
Yeah.
Was just like the tentpole FPS just don't do it for me, so I'll just wait for things that went like overwhelming consensus says.
Yeah.
So like a game that's been near the top of my list for ages has been Hellblade.
Ooh. Play that game.
Yeah, I will. In a month.
Yes. Yeah. The problem with Hellblade is it will eat at you.
Right.
And you play it, and you want to play more, and you will want to play more, and you will want to play more.
Your description of it is exactly why I own it on Good Old Games. I installed it on the PC and then left it alone. It's like any day I can start it, but that day I start it is the day I can afford to start it.
Yes, yeah, completely. Yeah.
I was gonna say let's grab another pint. Oh shit! But we're here.
Low battery. So segment 2 there is probably complete, and we may return
for segment 3.
for segment 3.
Yeah. Oh,
If we can find someone to charge the laptop.
Fuck, yeah.
See you in a bit.
Bye.
Start sway.
No, we did start last time. What are the
Side
other
swipe.
ones? They're wipes, they're not swipes.
Blackout.
They're wipes. Do you not know anything about video? That's what's been recording.
Hooray.
I've got the podcast covered. This video nonsense you've insisted on the other hand. So, we are at the Good Measure, which is
Good Chemistry's first pub.
Yes, that's right. Our friends at Good Chemistry. Unfortunately, Sam Curley isn't here with us.
He's dead to us.
Sorry, I just realized that. Yep. I'm trying to get us both in frame. Hopefully I'll remember to edit, one of us will remember to edit this out for the audio, but yeah. So, as we can see, we are at Good Measure. You can see the background. We are doing our part to light us up as much as we can.
It's awkward because you've got to hold the phone.
The rugby was on.
Yes, it's now finished.
So we are an entire pint in. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in a pint in.
What did we just drink? What did we drink before the beers we're drinking now?
You had
The Upper Hellenatten from
Fine.
Marble.
another marble,
Another Marble, which is the Macchiato Porter, which is very nice.
which I just realized you never gave me a sip of, and I'm sad about.
Oh, no. We'll have another half in a minute. It's very nice.
You can have a sip of the last bits of mine, which was the Imperfect Being.
Oh, this is a good beer.
The Juicy IPA from Good Chemistry, which I know you've had, but you haven't had on tap, I believe.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
I had it from Bottle, I believe. Nice.
So, before we move on to the beers that we've already started supping after that, it is juicy for sure.
Yeah.
But what I really like about this beer, I mean, it is a 7%. You kind of notice the strength, but what I like about it is after the juice is sort of like a very thin first stage of the taste. And what I really like is how biscuity the back end of the taste is. Like it just the malts kick in and it just gives so much more depth to this beer.
Yeah, completely.
It's a 7% juicy IPA, but again, it's also just a really malty.
It's interesting,
beer.
like trying to think about Good Chemistry's, like Kokomo Weekend. Another a big juicy IPA. It may be a little higher in percentage.
Yeah.
Which is very, very hop forward, and I'm trying to think of it. I haven't had it for a while,
So it is
but I'm
not.
trying to
it
think
has
of
very,
how, how the malts work with it. I don't think
They're very
I think-
light.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
very light.
Whereas this kind of balances it out a little bit more.
It's so what's interesting is it's almost like there's two stages to the taste, but the handoff between the stages is very fluid.
Yeah.
So it's not like juice malts, but at the same time there's clearly like juice and malts going on, but there's this lovely sluice
They merge
move.
very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like you're going from the one to the other. You're just like, I'm experiencing all these tastes. These are great.
Yeah.
It's a
completely. I agree.
really excellent beer. Cool. What are you drinking now? Now that we've back-ended things.
So I'm on another Good Chemistry beer.
Every now and
Gravity Wave, which is an APA?
Yeah.
An amber APA, so it suggests.
5.6%?
Which I've just had a porter, so it kind of skews this a little bit, but I'm getting like a nice fruity front, little bit of dankness, and then a very, very light bitterness. Again, a slightly sweet, biscuity kind of end to go along with that slightly like tongue-tingly bitterness. It's not a big bitterness, it's not hitting the back of my throat.
Right.
It's kind of at the front of my mouth, really, more than anything. So it's kind of...
So another sort of, not malt forward, but malt present.
Malt present, definitely, yeah. Malt supported, maybe a term I've made up, that describes this beer very well.
Yeah.
And it describes maybe a couple of the beers I've had
So
tonight.
the malts aren't like a mage or a warrior, they're like a bard.
Or white, well...
And
white
bard.
a white mage, maybe.
Blue mage. White mages are not support. They're like a standard rule.
I suppose.
No, don't suppose.
Just all about the debuff done.
No, I mean, debuff or buff, like that's support, right? Like that is what's supported.
I'll play my lutes. I'll sit here.
Yeah, so like
That's what the malts are.
So we'll call back
the lute
to
playing bard.
so like when I was saying I want to make a ridiculous Octopath party of the merchant, the thief, the alchemist, and the scholar and the alchemist.
Yes,
Like the reason for that is because they're all support characters. Why? Because you don't traditionally see them in the forefront.
Yeah, it's not the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
It's not the tank, the damage dealer,
well,
and the healer.
I mean, the scholar's basically just a black mage, but yeah. Cool. I'm drinking a beer that I have already forgotten what it is. It is
A Pulner. The Munich Lager.
the Munich
From
Lager.
Pulner.
Yeah, thank you. What Ben said.
That one.
So it's a lager. No nose.
Very,
Minimal
it's retaining. It's a little head, but it's maintaining that head.
Yeah, I mean,
And
this
that-
has been poured for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that carbonation is still fucking going. It's relentless almost in its carbonation.
Oh yeah, that's a lager. It's a lager, but it's not like a lager.
Okay.
And what I say about it, it's doing all the
It's not
lager
like
roles.
it's not sort of dank and gone.
No. Have a sip. It's doing the lager moves. What I'm actually surprised at is how quick.
Super light.
The nose is light. The taste is quick. The taste is actually quite good. I suspect you'll want a second taste.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Because everything's happening a little too quickly to really like discern. Not in a bad way. Just like if I'm trying to tell people what the taste is, I want to be able to say a little more that I can't.
It's gone so quickly. I mean, so
It is.
you get towards the end of that taste.
You get.
It's got that light dankness to it. It's got a little bit of citrus in there as well. And then something else, like you're saying about having that second sip. Like you want to have that second sip, and I think that's because something kind of kicks in. There's something else there
It's kind of like
that invites you in again.
Yeah, it's not like. Yeah, I think that's correct. It's not like a gap like dryness is. It's like a. Did you maybe miss something?
Yes. Yeah.
I have no idea how to describe this in beer terms, but it's like a. I'm not dissatisfied with what I'm tasting, but something in me is like, I think there's something more.
Yeah.
There's like a je ne sais quoi sort of move to like this. To be honest, it's a very straightforward lager.
Yeah.
In the sense of it's doing lagery things at lagery intervals, but it's doing it really lightly, delicately, and there's something that's hinting at more that I don't know how to pinpoint yet. And that's, I think, what we're sort of talking about, this idea of like, well, what about maybe you need another taste? And I think that probably is exactly what it is. Like, it's just an invitation to want to do more that is not easily done, and so I'm thinking it's more than that. But yeah, really excellent beer.
Yeah, really nice. And this, like, the more I drink it, the more the malts and the bitterness kind of take precedent. It kind of goes from having a sip and it being that kind of you know, the hops are of course very present in the 4.
Yeah.
But the malts are pushing through a little bit more, just constantly, just going and going and going,
Yeah.
and it gives you a little dankness, just a very light kind of dankness, to try and match the slightly fruity hops with the malts in there as well. That very biscuity kind of.
Do you mind if I take another sip?
Of course, yeah.
I'm super curious.
So it's one that's maybe it's not changing when I drink the more
I see what you mean.
But it's maybe my palate is kind of going, okay, now this is actually happening in this beer.
It's because the biscuitiness is so much stronger than you think, and it's at the same time it's married with a strong hopping.
Yeah.
Like there is just a textbook class bitterness in the aftertaste.
Yeah.
But at the same time you get this like notion of biscuit, like this notion of like malty biscuitiness.
So 5.6%.
I actually
it's got that lovely bitterness to it.
I actually might have predicted more just because I think it's a
bigger taste.
It's a big taste, and the way other beers hide their alcoholism is in these types of big tastes. So like it's kind of like I don't feel like it tastes super alcoholic, but I know that one of the ways of hiding alcohol is in this particular move. So part of me assumes that maybe there's a hiding there, even though there is
possibly. Yeah. I mean, it's a beer that is a bit reminiscent of something from like Arbor.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
You know, you think that it's a big hop.
There's
other things going on.
A big front end with some nuance.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's other things that kind of, you know, talking about supporting roles. It's maybe not so supporting, and that actually that is what you're getting, and it just takes you a bit of time and a bit more understanding of what you're having to be able to kind of to notice that a little bit, perhaps that it's working kind of like underneath everything else, but it is the base of what you're kind of having. So I mean,
solid beer,
very solid. Yeah, easily drink.
I mean, in this weather, I think the alcohol content is low enough that left outside it might freeze. It's a solid beer.
Yay!
There's a long way to go for that.
So segment 3.
Shit, was there a third segment? I said third, so clearly we're ready for the third segment.
What is the third segment? You, in the last section, or the last, the last venue, you suggested you'd had a third segment or a question.
Sorry, I'm just trying to fix this. Yeah, there we go.
You had something.
I'm really bad at mirroring, so I always move the wrong way.
The wrong way, yeah.
Oh shit! So last segment was tanked up, being a gamer. Oh yeah. So, I thought. I mean, I'm sad that Lucy couldn't join us, but it's 150 episodes, and we've like hemmed and hawed and waffled and moved between different sort of formats. And very recently, we have said we missed like the idea of a segment or like a pointed topic.
A topic to chat.
So I thought that we're a few beers in. We're 150 episodes in. It's me and you. You've had more episodes than me.
Slightly.
Well, you started before me, and then I've had a lot of Canada trips.
I suppose.
I think it's probably like 10.
I suppose I don't even think about that.
I think it's 10.
Yeah.
So 10 of 150. It's not a big deal. But I thought it would be worth looking at not only how we started, where we've been, but where we want to go.
Oh.
And so yes, that's right. I'm saying I'm invoking past, present, and future. But what I want to say is like, what does? I guess the easy thing is what is tanked up to you. Where do you want it to go? And then I think we both can share a thing. And then next week in episode 151. We're gonna just pressure Lucy for the same thing.
That'd be the
Having
whole
said
episode.
that, we are
segment 1, 2, and 3.
Well, having said that, we are several beers in. I'm holding a phone to reflect off the glass of my laptop to light us up. If you just want to talk about what Tank Tap has been to you thus far, that's a good entry point. Let's start there.
I suppose I say I'll be brief, but I don't really want to be brief.
I'll be boxers.
Kind of, hey, with a fly, perhaps.
What kind of boxers don't have flies? Okay, hold on a second. Pause.
My boxers don't have flies.
No, it's just like a flat front.
Flat front. What are they called?
What country am I living in where they sell these things? I thought Brexit was bad, but then I found out.
Just pull them down. What kind of weird tangent have we gone on here?
I'm gonna sign off on this and go on. You can co-sign if you want. I'm reusing the joke from segment 1.
So, Tank Tap means like a fucking lot to me. It's obviously something I've put a fucking hell of a lot of time into to just hang out with my friends. Essentially, you and I became friends whilst recording.
I was just saying. I mean, to be honest, I'm gonna just cut you off, but because I think, you and Alex started this podcast, and I was living in Halifax.
No, you were living with Alex.
No, I was living in Halifax,
Oh.
struggling with my PhD,
Oh.
and was like, I need to get this back on track. I'll teach for a semester. I'm going to move back to Bristol for 3 months.
Okay.
And Sam and Alex were like, we've got a spare room.
Yeah.
Don't pay rent. We understand this is tough. Stay with us.
Yeah.
And that's when I moved into that house.
Okay.
And Tank Tap was 46 and 48.
Yeah.
And you guys had like two
or three maybe episodes, yeah.
And Alex was just like, well, shit, you care about video games and beer, just join up.
Yeah.
And then I joined up for a few episodes. By that I mean like a few months of episodes. And then when I moved back, what I found, what really was wonderful was you guys were like, well, no, you're clearly part of this. So we have to figure out how to make this work when you're abroad. And that meant me drinking at 1 p.m. But that's a different story. Don't worry about it. Go back to the archives. But like, that meant a lot to me. Like, it was like, oh, there are dogs in the pub. That's fine. It was just a dog being scared. But like,
Fucking scared the shit out of me.
But it meant a lot to me because it was like, it wasn't a temporary thing. It wasn't like a, hey, you're the board or whatever. Like, it was like
Sure, yeah.
I was clearly part of the Tanked Up crew, and
Completely,
I mean, if you've been paying attention through this whole time, you know that my time in Halifax, and even after I came back to Bristol, was a struggle with mental illness, etc. And one of the things that really helped was that, like, I had a home, and that home wasn't where I was necessarily, but it was like these people cared about me, and it was this simple move, and and to me, it meant the world at the time, and I'm not going to discount that. Like, I was really struggling, and like, you guys didn't do a thing out of pity or whatever. You're just like, oh yeah, you're clearly part of the podcast, so when you move, you'll be part of it. And when I was struggling with understanding what it meant to be with the day-to-day, what I knew was week on week, I could just all I had to do was open up Skype, and if I played a game, I could talk about it. Otherwise, I would just have a beer with my friends.
Oh, completely.
And that's what Tanked Up. That's what Tanked Up was to me.
I think you know, for me, kind of, it started as an outlet, just for me to, you know, I didn't have a space to talk about games with anybody. What are we now? Almost 4 years in, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So 150 episodes kind of suggests that maybe we're 3 years in, but we're not. We're 4 years in now.
We had a
just because
spotty
of, like, we did a lot of you know, Fortnite
breaks,
kind of episodes and stuff like that. So we're 4 years in. So at that point, I didn't have a huge amount of people to talk to about games. Alex and I had become really good friends. We both like games, we both like beer, and it just seemed like a very kind of an easy thing for us to go, hey, why don't we start recording what we're talking about? You know, okay, maybe we're 5 or 6 years too late to the podcast scene, but we're not really worried about that. It's just fun to be able to do this and kind of like chat around it and just kind of make something of our conversations, I suppose.
The key was that you found out about a weird killing of someone in your neighborhood. Sorry. That's serial Bristol subset.
So for me, it just kind of became an outlet. But kind of as it evolved, it very much became, it didn't become kind of just that outlet. It very much, it became more about us, I suppose.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
hanging out with my friends. And
exactly.
And meeting you through Alex, obviously, but us then continuing on doing this when you moved, Lucy then joining us,
right? And Alex bowing out because he had
Alex bowing out because he had other things, yeah, of course. And then Lucy becoming, Lucy wasn't just like, oh hey, we got someone to come in just to be like a third chair, like. No. Tanked up, Lucy is as much tanked up as we are, and it's a huge shame that she can't be here today to kind of chat around this.
And I mean, we definitely planned for that, but life got in the way.
Unfortunately.
And I think that's also, I'm going to put a pause on, I don't mean to cut you off, but like, the whole entire plan was Lucy would be here.
Yeah.
And Lucy planned on being here, and life got in the way because family obligations, etc.
And snow. I think even if she wanted to be.
Yeah, that's fair. But why I bring this up is because I think that's what sort of Tanked Up is to me. It's like you and Lucy are kind of like you're a branch of family. Like we planned this and life got in the way, but that's just what happens, and we roll with it.
Yeah, completely.
And because we don't have to worry. Like, it's not a scheduling malfunction because we'll see you next week.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I think is what's always been comforting to me about Tanked Up has been that. And that we like. It's friends. It's an excuse for friends to get together, and other people seem to give a shit or not give a shit about what we do, and that helps ground us.
Very
to make
much.
sure we schedule friend time.
Yeah, and it's one of those that it's we don't do this because we're we don't do this because we're a major publication and we feel that we need to put a podcast out. We do this because we want to spend time with our friends, because we want to discuss the things that we discuss between ourselves, and I want to know what you think about these things.
I was going to say, yeah.
I think that's why we brought the topics back. It's because I want to know what you and Lucy think about these things. Obviously, we talk all the time.
We do?
So it's a lot of the time it's very kind of like because there's a lot of other people in like the chats and stuff. It's very kind of like passive comments like, oh, this is a thing. You're like, oh, good fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And you kind of move on from that. Whereas the podcast allows us to kind of explore some of these things a little bit more.
To be honest, if no one listened, I'd still want to do the podcast because it gives a break for me, you, and Lucy to talk about. Especially now that we brought topics back, it's like, okay, so what do we really think about X?
Yeah.
Because sometimes X comes up in the news and we can just like let it float by, but actually we care about it
completely.
And what I really value is the fact that we get listeners contacting us and saying we care about this too, and we value your opinion, and blah blah blah.
I mean, I love that we have listeners. It's fucking brilliant that people give a shit about what we think about things. Yeah. But if we had no listeners, I'd still want to do it. Yeah. To be honest, I mean, peek behind the curtain, I do a lot of the back end work for Out of Lives, and so I have access to the various levels of like metrics we can get. Off of Spotify, off of iTunes, off of the website itself. And none of it has ever influenced me on like worrying about Tanked Up, because it's like, I know some people listen,
but really, like, obviously we want to grow listenership, but like, kind of at the end of the day, I want to be able to feel like we had a solid conversation. And if only 4 people cared about that conversation, then only 4 people cared about it.
4 people that cared about it.
Yeah.
I think for me,
And I think
if we recorded an episode and it was at 0 listeners,
I mean, that's impossible.
I would sit there and think, okay, that's fine, it doesn't matter.
I would think, Ben, you didn't even
next time-
fucking download the episode? God damn it, man. I'm
Okay.
trying to just have some boost to the metrics.
So, if we were at a very small listenership,
Yeah.
I would think to myself, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
We, Aadil, Lucy, and I will still get together exactly the same time every week. We just won't kind of do the setup that we do to begin with. We'll just start chatting.
I think that's exactly why we have the niche listenership we have, is because it's like, I don't think our core listenership agrees with us all the time.
Oh, no, of course not.
Yeah, I think it's just like
No one can agree with anyone 100%
we're
of the time, really.
reliable and we clearly care. And one of the things, so we've been rambling. We're
Of course.
several
As we were
rounds
going
in.
to.
Yeah. One of the things I would like, so 2 things. So this segment was about like where Tank Tap has been, and obviously that like has a harbinger of where Tank Tap could go. What I would like us to do is, on the one hand,
Drink
just
more.
sorry.
Drink more.
I would like to try and figure out how to interact more with our listenership, because I know they exist.
Yeah.
And precisely because we've been refocusing on segments, I'd like to figure out how to make that work a little more fluidly, so that we can not just like say X and then get emails about Y, and if the emails are like interesting, talk about it. I'd actually like to figure out how to have that interplay a little more central. And maybe that's, we post the question before the podcast episode starts so people can like respond. We have to figure that out. But I think that's probably, like, that's a place I'd be really interested in, because returning topics, beer or video gaming wise, like, I think that's really interesting. And I think that's also where the people I know or have spoken to who listen consistently also sort of gravitate towards, and I'd like to hear where they weigh in.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think as the, for sort of like the future of the... It's difficult to kind of separate the future of the podcast from the future of like our lives.
I don't think it is. As the technical director of Out of Lives, or the CTO, I can divorce the two like that.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
I suppose I'm kind of, writing for the site a lot more,
So-
and being involved in bringing other people into the site. I'm kind of like very involved in Out of Lives, so it kind of like, I would obviously like for Out of Lives to grow, but for Tanked Up specifically, I think, like you, I'd like a little bit more. Not even like listener engagement, listener involvement, perhaps.
No, I think engagement works. I think it's the same thing.
That, like you say, that we can kind of
Interplay.
yes, that it might not be that we pose a question and read off people's kind of like the answers that they brought over Twitter. I think that maybe
I don't
it's-
want us to be a poll service.
No, completely, exactly that.
Because I hate the polls.
But it's one of those that I don't know.
I don't hate the pollers. That was a joke.
Oh no. I don't think that like the current idea of like if we were to do this as a streaming service, I don't think that media, for us at least, works in the kind of way that we would have all of our listeners tuning in at that time to listen to us and get involved. That's not going to happen. Because people consume the media that they want to on their own terms.
So
People-
Tank Top
people
and
might
Out of
listen to
Lives
us.
have never been a on-demand type idea.
Exactly. So people might listen to us. We normally post on a Friday.
Yeah.
People might listen to our last episode on a Thursday.
And,
the
and
Thursday
they should
before.
die in a fire because that ruins our metrics.
So is
that what you're saying?
No.
Why are you telling our listeners to die in a fire?
I want more involvement, but I want it on everyone else's kind of terms. I want it on that person's terms because Tanks Up has kind of always been about kind of like inclusivity.
Yeah.
I mean, we and kind of being like, or at least kind of like producing what we do kind of around who we are. So if we need a week off, we need a week off.
Yeah.
If you're in Canada for a week, we can try and make that work. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
and we don't do it.
Yeah.
So it kind of, or like if Lucy goes, we've you know, Aadil, and we know Aadil's not going to be around for this week because he's got something on. We've got enough to chat about. Let's do
just
that.
do a thing.
So
yeah.
we do, and we chat, and we
And
tell you, and we ask you about it to make sure that's okay.
yeah,
we have
exactly.
that conversation, and it would be nice to kind of extend that to listeners as well,
Right.
to kind of bring them in a bit more. But it's kind of, I think it's a bit of a hard thing to find that middle ground, perhaps.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I don't know how to move forward doing that.
So now that we've come to the episode 150 of Shrug, I would really like to hear from listeners on any platform: Twitter, Instagram, email, Steam. Fucking add me on goddamn Switch and then message me, whatever. But so I think the community that we have is unleveraged, and by that I mean not we could leverage them for more viewership, blah blah blah. I mean, like, I think we have people on various platforms who would really enjoy interacting with each other that they might not already.
Completely. I think that's so.
But
About the future, I think that's one of the moves. We've already kind of moved them into Instagram.
Yeah.
To start posting things up. It's a slightly different crowd than Twitter.
Yeah, so
it's
what I
a
was
slightly different
gonna
crowd
say-
than the Facebook kind of crowd. So even though it's the same thing, it's a slightly different crowd.
No, it's not the same thing.
But
Yeah.
so I think it's trying. We're trying to kind of open ourselves up a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think what you derailed me. I hate you.
You've done it to me so many times.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm glad I've
I
done
am
it.
the most on-site person ever. Especially when wordplay is involved. I'd be like, I could say X, but I won't, because that might derail Y. That is the definition of me. Having said that, I've derailed myself. I think that's generally appropriate. I think I would like to hear from our followers, etc., but also just like figure out how we can. So we're a few people. It's Ben, me, Lucy, and I say Lucy, I point at the taps because she's over in Birmingham and she wished she was here. But in general, with Out of Lives, we're actually also at a similar crossroads where we're trying to figure out where and how we can evolve into a space where we're still community-driven, blah, blah, blah. But I think... What do I think? I've had too much beer.
Hooray!
I had a thought and I lost. I can literally I said the syllables. I think. Gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. So anyway, let's just say this. Thank you for listening for 150 episodes. If you watch this, you'll see how awful things are. If you interrupted me. What I would like to see is more interaction with our fans, and also with the topics that we've been trying to deal with. And sort of a task on us is how do we, given that we are niche beer video games, how do we interact with social media on topics that sort of hit us on one or the other topic. But in general, I want to just see more. And Tank Top has been a really great thing for me. And fuck, I wouldn't have met you. Like, how weird is that?
Yeah, I know, it is weird.
Like,
it is very weird.
Let us just take a moment to say that if this podcast didn't exist, we wouldn't be friends.
I know.
That is really weird.
But it's kind of
like,
the
it's
same.
really weird.
It is really weird. It's the same for Lucy as well.
It's more compounded by that because the reason why we know Lucy is because Tank Top had a bit of a wave at a point such that the Out of Lives Network was like, we're trying to expand and you seem to be an up-and-coming podcast. We're going to absorb you, and that's why we know Lucy.
Yes.
But also, that wave was really shitty.
It's essentially that Lucy said, I listen to this podcast.
No, but Lucy could have said that until Out of Lives was like, join our network. That's what I'm saying. Like, me, you, and Alex.
We were like this, and then we went like this.
Yeah, we had a moment. This is why I think it's crazy. We had a moment where it seemed like
that was meant to be a level. That wasn't.
You're talking to a podcast, but like we did have a bit of a thrust, but like it was super unclear on what that meant. And Out of Lives was like, you've got some traction. We're curious. Let's absorb you. And at that point, pretty much, Alex ducked out, and me and you were like, cool. Let's just join this, see what happens. And then like months happened, and then Lucy was like, "Oh, I like beer a lot," and then she joined.
Well,
but
then the first conversation I had with Lucy really was about Fallout 4.
That's not a real game.
And someone had collected a shitload of bottle caps to pay for a copy of Fallout 4. You know, as you know. And Lucy posted, I think, a picture of tons of bottle caps, and I commented saying, "Hey, that's a cool collection of bottle caps.
Right.
I see some cool brewers in there. Blah 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 blah."
And that's where
Lucy was like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, I do this podcast." She's like, "I listen to that podcast."
She really said, "I listen."
Yep.
And I'm like,
okay,
brilliant. Come on the podcast.
Everyone hold the phone. I had no idea Lucy was a listener before she joined.
She's not anymore. But she
Obviously,
was.
no one is. Do you listen? No. Do I listen? No. Did I listen when I was a producer?
God, that's it. I edit. I don't even fucking listen.
Cool. I think there's no better way to end this except to say that us three, Lucy, Ben, Aadil, have at times both listened, produced. Well, Lucy might not have produced. I've loosed it. We've listened. We've appreciated.
Yes.
We participated.
Yes.
Tanked up.
Hooray!
This has been episode 150.
It has.
I really hope that we can do a lap wrangle with Lucy so we can properly get this.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice. I know there's a few beer events coming up
Oh yeah.
that we're all going to kind of get involved in
Yeah.
later in the year.
And the best part is realizing these are just random numbers, so it's not a big deal if
exactly.
we can. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I know it's going to probably be a bit difficult, but if you could pick a beer,
Quartet.
wasn't that difficult.
Yeah. I've been thinking about it all night.
Okay.
To be honest, I think if it was just the Wiper and True influence, I wouldn't have done it. But the fact that it was very clearly nuanced, interesting in the beginning, and then had this swoop of taste that sort of traded places with delicate to this is a beer.
Yeah.
That move that was consistent with every sip of that beer. That's why it was like, oh, this is Wiper and True and Bristol Beer Factory doing a thing.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I get what Wiper and True's doing, and it's interesting, and this did this thing, but it's really nuanced and subdued. But that beer, every time I took a step, was like, I'm going to start you here, I'm going to swoop you up to here, and then you're going to do the regular follow-up. And it was like, no, that's fantastic. Very few beers can take me from nuance to interesting to still interesting while fading out. That's the beer.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
You?
I think for me it's this one, Gravity Wave.
Yeah, it's a good beer.
Everything I've had so far has been nice. It's been easy. It's been beers I would drink again. I think Gravity Wave does enough over everything else that it kind of leads you in very simply, but then gives you such a good body.
Yeah.
It's got so much backing it up that I've still got that biscuity maltiness.
So that's what I
on my
really
palate now.
liked about that beer.
Lasts. It's dry, but it lasts. It's still fucking going. Like,
But the foretaste has none of that. That's why I like that beer.
yeah.
Is the fact that like the initial taste wasn't this very solid, strong finisher.
Yeah.
So like there was a swap to it, and very.
I
excellent
think,
beer.
but you say there's a swap to it, but I think the more that you drink, the more fluid that becomes.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, the last few sips, the last third that I've had of this beer has been very easy, but it has been like an amalgamation of all of those things, like leading into each other very, very well. And I've still got it now. I've finished the beer, I finished it maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds ago, maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And it's still there. It's still lasting. It's that biscuitiness, that lovely maltiness. It's still sticking around. So it just works really well. So I think she's going to Thailand. It works really well.
Is that your beer?
So it's my beer for the episode. Yay!
Cool. I think that's episode 150.
Hey!
Hi.
Have we got a silent somewhere? Go to outlives.net, tags about the scorecast,
Oh, don't fucking.
all the things. Do that shit. You've heard it before. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, I don't know.